Hi, welcome to Chris Ryan Golf. We are in the Tailor-Made Performance Centre here at the Belfry, and in this video we are going to be discussing the impact, and we're going to give you a really simple drill that you can do to sense where a good impact should be. Just before we get into that, please make sure you go ahead and follow me on my social media platforms. The details should be in the corner of the screen about now. You've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, and you've got Instagram. You can get in contact with me via any of those if you have any comments, any questions, or any suggestions on videos that you would like me to film going forwards. That's going to be really helpful. So, impact. As you can see, we've got an iron club here, so we're talking about impact with an iron, and really impact is the only position in the golf swing which we are concerned with. If we can change the impact, we can change the ball flight. So if the ball is not going through the air exactly as you'd like it, maybe the height, maybe the shape, maybe the distance, it's the impact which we need to look at, it's the impact which we need to change. So the video today is really just to go through and understand the impact, understand how it differs from the setup, understand what we're trying to do in the golf swing, because certainly there's many golfers out there who simply don't have the concept of where impact should be, and obviously if we don't have the right concept, we're not going to get there in our golf swing. So I just want you to take a mid-iron for this drill. I've got a 7-iron here, but an 8 or a 6 would be fine, and I just want you to take your starting position. Okay, so I don't need a golf ball for this. So there's my setup. Okay, now we're not really going to talk too much about the setup today. We're going to assume that it's pretty good, pretty orthodox for that mid-iron. The impact that we would like to achieve is considerably different to where we want to start. So first of all, for a lot of golfers, that's news. They don't really understand that. A lot of golfers are trying to return the club with the same sort of look as we had at setup. Many golfers do that. They actually return to a position which looks like setup. Those golfers are generally the ones who don't reach the potential in terms of distance. They flight the ball very high, they inconsistently strike the ball for different parts of the golf club, and they don't generally get the feedback that they require. They often tell me it doesn't feel brilliant, it doesn't feel like it should do, and we're going to try and address that in this video. So, this is the drill I want you to do, okay? If, from my setup, with the club resting on the floor, if I try and move the club head towards my target, okay, it raises off the ground immediately, okay? My club is resting on the ground and it raises up off the ground immediately, okay? So if I was to put a golf ball in line with my left foot, okay, if I move the club towards the ball, I potentially will catch the top of the ball, but that's about it, okay? My club is working up and away from the ground, okay? So that's the first thing I want you to do. Just try and feel what that feels like, okay? Now, if I take my starting position again, but this time I move to an impact position I would like to have in my golf swing, okay? So we're going to talk about what we do in a minute, but we're going to go there first of all. So there's my impact, okay? Now, if I move the golf club towards the target, you'll notice that it scrapes along the ground until it reaches about my lead foot, at which point it begins to work up off the ground, okay? So if we do the same little drill that we did before, same little exercise, place a golf ball in line with the lead foot, take my setup, go to impact. This time, when I reach the ball, my golf club is still in contact with the ground, okay? That is really important, and that is the first drill I want you to do, okay? So, how do we achieve this good impact? Well, I don't want you to be too concerned with the handle, okay? Let the handle move if it moves, and it will move, okay? So, from a setup, I want you to have your head in exactly the same position. I want you to have your hips or your pelvis shifted slightly towards the target, and I want you to have those hips rotated slightly towards the target. Now, as I add that rotation, you'll notice that the handle moves forward because I'm maintaining the pressure between my lead arm and my chest, okay? That's really important. That is now pretty close to my desired impact position, okay? So the reason that the handle was forward was not simply because I tried to push the handle forward. I didn't move my lead arm off my chest. I didn't move my head over here. The reason the handle was forward because my hips and my pelvis was forward, and it had some rotation, which moved the hands forward of the impact, okay? Now I get some lean in the club shaft. My right heel begins to leave the ground a little bit. My right knee begins to kick in a little bit. That is now my impact. From there, I can scrape the club along the ground. You'll notice that there's some bend in the club shaft because I can apply some pressure through the ground. When it gets to my left foot, it's going to start to leave the ground, okay? That is your little drill. If you feel that when you do that, you can scrape the club for a couple of inches and then it leaves the ground, it probably means you haven't quite got enough shift, you haven't quite got enough rotation, and therefore you haven't quite got enough lean in the handle. Okay, it's not a bad idea to make these first drills a little bit more extreme than potentially would happen in the golf swing, just to sense what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, so you can see my club is scraping along that ground for almost a foot, almost 12 inches. Okay, and that's really, really important. Okay, once you've done that, you're absolutely fine to do that with a golf ball. Take my starting position, find my impact, hold everything there, move the club back 3 or 4 feet, and then try and deliver it. Okay, ball flight should be very, very low, and we're really only looking to hit this ball 15 yards through the air. Okay, you can see my backswing wasn't particularly long at all. Just be careful, because when I do this with clients, I'll very often see this good impact, and then when I say hit on, they'll often sort of shift all the way back here, and we lose the sort of positions that we were trying to work towards. So make sure when you do this, that club is only going to be going back a few feet, and then it goes through. That allows you to keep the hips forward, allows you to keep a bit of rotation, allows you to sense much, much better where our impact is. If we can start to sense where the impact is, we are going to have much, much more awareness in our golf swing once we get to here of actually where we need to be. Okay, but this drill is just to give you an indication as to what your impact should feel like. Okay, and obviously we look at an iron here. If we was drive, we wouldn't want the handle as far forward, certainly, so just do this with the mid iron. But this drill is going to give you a really good indication, as I say, as to what impact should be like, and it might be a little bit of an eye-opener for some of you out there who don't achieve that impact position. Okay, so quite a simple drill, one you can take straight to the driving range. Make sure when you're hitting those shots, you're only looking to hit that ball 10 or 15 yards through the air. The club's only going back 3 or 4 feet, because if you go any further, you'll start to work into a more orthodox backswing position, and it's not really what we're trying to do in this drill. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully it gives you a better understanding of what we're trying to do with the golf swing, because concept is absolutely key. Lots of golfers out there just have the wrong concept, and therefore their task isn't quite right, because their idea of what they're trying to do is incorrect. Okay, so a little impact drill, give it a go, post your comments down below. It'd be interesting to get your feedback. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't done already, then please subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free. There is a link in the description box down below. Okay, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.